I'm kicking your ass, dude.
Of course you are. You're screen looking me.
I'm not long necking, man.
Yeah, you are, dude.
That doesn't matter. You're playing like shit anyway.
Say that to my face.
Dude, I just did. We're on the couch.
Well, pretend we're not. Pretend we're playing a game over some kind of online connection or something.
I wonder if that'll ever be possible.
Well, it's 2026. Who knows?
Hi, I'm Tyson.
And I'm Mike. And we argue with dragons.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tyson.
And this is Mike.
We are here with Arguing with Dragons, the podcast where two nerds sit around and talk about some of our favorite nostalgic moments from the past and, news and fun stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So, Mike, what's going on in the world today?
An awful lot. But as far as more specifically, I just found out somewhat recently that there's going to be a reboot of White Collar.
White Collar?
Yeah.
Refresh my memory on that one.
All right. Just in basic terms here, White Collar was a pretty awesome TV show. A very, very high class, very smart, and very suave con man gets caught by the FBI and is then hired to work with them to solve white collar crimes, like business level crimes, as opposed to, like robberies and such. Yeah, it was an excellent show starring Matt Bomer and, Willie Garson, who RIP as of 2021. It was recently set up for a reboot. I want to say in like 2024, they were in talks of setting up a reboot for it. And somewhat recently, they said that it could release as early as late 2026. And I'm
Interesting.
personally very excited about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I love me a good crime show, and I love me a good show that it breaks down the investigative process.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
to finally see one that's not just about finding dead bodies is kind of refreshing.
I mean, there's a lot of dead bodies in it, but it also involves a lot of like art thieving and heists and such.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch it on stream, it's on the green one.
Oh,
To
the
be
green one.
copyright non-specific.
Well, no, we can tell people that it's on Hulu. That's okay.
You said the magic word.
Oh, no. We're going to get sued again.
Yay.
Oh, what else is on Hulu? There's a interesting show out there if you like crime shows called High Potential.
Oh, I fucking love that show.
That show is great.
We actually just watched the most recent episode of that tonight. My wife and I did.
Oh, yeah. See, it's on my to-do list.
Yeah,
along with
Caitlin
like,
Olsen is a fantastic comedic actress.
she is. And as much as I'm like awed by the intelligence factor, I just cannot look at her and not see her as an Olsen.
Well, she's not related to the Olsen twins.
But she looks just like them.
In a way, yeah.
It's weird. It's
And
weird.
tell you one thing I really like about that show is her dynamic with her co-star, Karadec.
I know. If they don't fall in love by the end of this season, I'm not watching anymore.
Frankly, I'm actually kind of opposed to that view. I think they would do better just as business, or not business, but like just partners instead of partners.
No, in season 1, they had serious chemistry. And it
They
was
still
beautiful.
do.
No, romantic chemistry, Michael. I see. Why are we doing nerding out about cop shows now?
Well, it does have a nerd factor to it. Notice we're
does.
getting all kinds of hyped up and passionate about it.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. White Collar is being rebooted. And also check out High Potential if you haven't. It's kind of a good show.
Hell yeah.
So I just actually watched right before we started recording tonight the new Spider-Man trailer.
Oh,
Yeah. So
tell me about it.
if you're following along with the saga of the post Endgame Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's kind of in a decline, if you ask me. And
And I agree.
Spider-Man had to sacrifice pretty much his whole identity. Well, they're picking up where that left off, where poor Peter Parker is now Spider-Man in the world, but nobody knows who he is. And he's lost all his friends and loved ones. And he's trying to cope with that. And it seems like in the middle of this coping, He is starting to turn into the man spider, if you're familiar with that from the comic books.
I personally am not. Why don't you break it down for me a little bit?
Well, you know how Spider-Man was created, right?
Sure, bitten by a
How it happened.
radioactive bat.
Bat. No, wrong, wrong character.
Oh, he's not a rich playboy in Gotham City?
No, no, you no, God,
Oh,
why would
sorry, I'm thinking of Deadpool.
somewhere out there, there's a fan having a stroke at the moment. Um,
Gross.
Whoever you are, fan, I am deeply, deeply sorry that you're offended. No, so the man spider was a result of the mutation that turned Peter Parker into Spider-Man, continuing to mutate. So the DNA of a radioactive spider merged with his own, giving him his spider-like powers.
Right.
Well, in the comic book, as I recall, he ends up growing 4 extra arms. So he ends up with a total of 8 limbs. And he fights for a while, fights crime with 8, 8 limbs, 6 arms, and then eventually turns into a giant hairy man spider,
Gross.
completing his mutation into a human spider hybrid. He kinda loses his own free will for a while. If you're a fan of the '93 cartoon series that tried to follow the comic book fairly closely, but I think a little loose, which is where I got my first indoctrination into Marvel, they call in Kraven the Hunter to come locate him, and, Kraven teams up with the Punisher,
Mm,
and whatever they're doing, they're bringing the Punisher into it because he's in the trailer.
that does not surprise me, actually. I mean, everybody seems to love the Punisher.
I don't understand why, but
Well,
it's
it's a
just
pretty intriguing story.
well, yeah, man, his wife and kid get gunned down by gang violence, and he becomes a vigilante. Doesn't that sound an awful lot like Batman?
I mean, kinda.
Yes. Only he's not rich, ladies and gentlemen, he's poor, and that's what makes it probably more interesting than Batman, because when you're rich, you can just do shit and nobody cares. But if you're poor, everybody knows who you are, you can't afford an alias, you can't afford an alibi, so
But
you
he can
become a
still afford $10,000 assault rifles.
hey, what he does on his OnlyFans page is between him and his fans.
And me, I pay 20 bucks for that.
Oh, man. All right,
I
Mike.
mean,
I mean, you pay $20 for an OnlyFans page to see the Punisher? Is he polishing his assault rifle on that page? I bet he is.
certainly polishing something.
Oh, man. Speaking of polishing, since we talked about the N64 a few episodes ago, have you dusted yours off yet?
I still haven't been able to find it amid all of the, still packed tote boxes and, Rubbermaid containers that are in our storage unit.
Oh, I was able to play a little bit more N64 with the family the other day, and I could not get over the fact that I kept looking at the wrong square in the split screen 4 box windows.
Mm, mm, mm.
I
Rookie
just
mistake, buddy.
I don't know if it's a mistake or if it's something else, but man, it's so hard on those old split screen games to be able to actually see what you're doing.
Mm, I disagree.
I bet you do. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna bring us to tonight's topic,
Hell yeah.
the split screen game versus online multiplayer. Who wore it better?
Ooh.
All right. So before we get into that, folks, I think we need a little lore dump, Mike.
Do we?
We do.
Oh my.
Per Wikipedia, the split screen game started in around the late 80s to early 90s, and a very early example was a game called Zybots, and it was
Ooh,
put out in 87, and it used a split screen to display a third-person shooter game.
really?
And yeah, this shocked me. I had to look up a screenshot of this game. It was really colorful and really cool, and it was very eerily reminiscent of something like Wolfenstein, only with far more basic. I'm assuming the arcade game cabinet probably had some kind of gun or light gun attachment, And it was, I mean, it was wild, but it used a split screen for you and your multiplayer friend. And some further research over at Ultimate Pop Culture, they called out a game called Lemmings, which was released in 91. And it used a very early split screen rendering for a two-person side-scrolling action game, which was also very colorful and very odd looking. This was the game, I think, if you can visualize this in your head, the skinny little purple dress wearing tan skinned men with bright green
Oh,
hair.
no, I played Lemmings.
Yeah, see, I think everybody has. And I did see that it had a re release on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I guess you can forgive that sin of it being on a Sony console, right?
No, no, not really.
Nostalgic games like that, those were the early beginnings. And split screen became a household topic when it came to games on the N64.
I'd say it
Um,
was a staple in a lot of houses.
I'm sure it was. Who doesn't remember GoldenEye?
People that weren't born yet.
Exactly. Who doesn't remember Mario Kart? Even the
Again, people
original
that weren't born yet.
even the original SNES Mario Kart was a split screen game.
Yes, it
Even
was.
the single player mode was a split screen game. Did you know that?
I did because I played the original.
It's a wonderful game. It
It
introduced me to the
was, yeah.
series. Oh, fantastic game.
And, I'm
So,
gonna be totally honest with you here. I didn't even know who Donkey Kong was until that game.
yeah,
I mean, I was still pretty young at the time, mind. So, I don't know, 5, 6.
yeah. I'm trying to think how old I was. I remember renting the game for the first time at a video rental store. And the
Oh,
game
it was at
actually,
least 20 years ago.
I was that nerdy kid who referred to the game in its full title, Super Mario Kart Funny Kart Madness.
Was that what it was called?
I heard it on a commercial or something. I must have because
Funny
I
Cart
I
Madness.
I remember this like it's a freaking, I don't know, a Mandela effect memory or something.
Potentially.
So split screen became a wonderful thing in the 90s, but it began to rapidly decline once the Xbox 360 and PS3 came out. They exclusively used online multiplayer for games. They weren't the first. Who had the first console that got online? Do you know?
Um, I think the Dreamcast.
Yes, the Sega Dreamcast.
Hearing something about that, yeah.
Sega's dying breath, the Dreamcast, had online multiplayer ability. Wonderful system. To this day, I've never played a single game on it, but I've watched so many. It looks like truly a work of art, but that controller that it has just scares the living shit out of me.
I've played the Dreamcast a couple of times. I had a friend who had one when I was younger. I would go to his house after school occasionally, and we would play Earthworm Jim.
Ooh, what a classic game, fart
Mm.
jokes and all.
Oh, absolutely. Hilarious, and to this day, I blame it for a lot of my toilet humor.
Well, I'm glad to know that we finally have a
Yeah.
source. Let me
And I
tell your
got something else
therapist.
you'll be glad to know.
What's that?
I found a picture of the Zybots, arcade cabinet.
Yeah?
No light gun.
Oh, really?
Just a couple of joysticks and some buttons.
Nice.
Yeah,
It looked like it had crosshairs in the screenshots, so
it might have, but I mean, if you were to play a first-person shooter or what have you on a console today without a light gun, you'll have crosshairs there too.
that's true. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, the Dreamcast did not, though, start the online gaming revolution, obviously.
No.
That started in the early 90s with the one, the only legend, Doom, having a
No.
full LAN network multiplayer option.
Hell yeah.
And if you've ever played some of these old games like Duke Nukem 3D, Doom, uh,
Wolfenstein, I played a lot of Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein, oh, they are just something else on the computer.
Hell
The
yeah.
original Unreal Tournament was Game of the Year edition. Unreal Tournament was a work of freaking art, and they all had online LAN multiplayer options. And these games, they became more complex, they became more beautiful, and I could not imagine playing a game like that on a split screen. I have tried to play games like that on a split screen. On the N64, they had this wonderful port of Doom. They had oh, what is that game? Not Forsaken? No, that's another game. Um,
Jet Force Gemini.
oh, that's another game also. But no, there was one that was, it was built in the original Unreal, I think one
Oh,
of the original Unreal engines, and
uh, Force Recon?
no, it was like a oh, maybe I'm thinking of Hexen. It
I
was
don't know,
like a
maybe.
there was a shooter game. It was a first person shooter game that was very reminiscent of the old school shooter games. I can't think of it off the top of my head, folks. If you think of it before me, write me in arguingwithdragons@gmail.com and tell me I'm a fucking idiot. But these games in split screen were like pulling freaking teeth, and it was brutal.
I still rather like it, dude. I don't know
You
what your
know,
beef is with it,
you're allowed to be wrong, Mike.
and
You
so are
really
you.
are. So tell me about your first impressions. What made you love split screen games so much?
Part of it was the social component.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really, really like just, coming home after a long day at school, plopping my morbidly obese 8-year-old ass on the couch with one of my best friends or somebody that said they were my friend to get access to my Nintendo in the room with me, on the couch next to me, and we could go back and forth with insults while we were playing. Kinda harkens back to the movie The 40-Year-Old Virginity and Know How I Know You're Gay scene.
That is a great scene
It
in a
really
movie.
is. I mean, a little politically incorrect, but at the same time, you have to admit the jokes are funny.
Hey, that movie's great. That
Yes, it
movie's
is.
great.
Yes, it is, but it's got the same vein. You and a friend sit down on a couch talking shit to each other while you're blowing each other's heads off on GoldenEye 64. Those are some of the best years of my life.
So what was the last split screen game you remember playing with somebody?
The last one, you say?
Mhm.
Ooh, that's a tough question. The last time I ever played split screen on a couch in a living room or adjacent, I would say was actually probably Halo 3.
Oh, see, to this day, I've never played a Halo game.
You'd probably enjoy it. I mean, if you like GoldenEye, Halo is just imagine GoldenEye, but with lasers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Besides the laser that was in it, but I mean,
No, I was an Unreal Tournament kid. That was my jam.
never did Unreal Tournament.
I remember split screens too, and I don't have quite the fond memory. One of my favorite split screen games, honestly, Star Fox 64.
Oh,
You could
really?
Oh, yeah, you either went head to head with somebody where you had the top and the bottom half, which I could handle that. But when you got 3 to 4 people involved, that game just became a dumpster fire, trying to keep track of what screen is yours without being distracted by somebody else's, and you knew they were looking to see where you were at. I mean, it was just, oh, it was
Well,
just
with
painful.
Star Fox specifically, I mean, you got the one battlefield you could play on multiplayer battle.
Oh, no, there was more than one.
Really, my point remains the same. There wasn't an
Mm.
awful lot of ground clutter. There wasn't much actual scenery. So screen looking in that game, are they next to that grayish blob or that grayish blob?
No, that's fair, but it helped you land your shots if you knew how to look right.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, even then, I have played Star Fox 64 myself, and I remember the multiplayer being damn near impossible to see them, even when they were on your screen and right in front of you. It was very difficult to see them.
See, I dominated it. I was really good, and that maybe because Star Fox 64 was one of my favorite games,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I played the hell out of it.
So did I actually. I did story mode more so though than multiplayer on that one.
These split screen games, some of these classic games that you sat on the couch with weren't even split screen.
Right.
Like, you remember the original Smash Brothers? I mean, you were head to head on the same screen, kicking each other's asses.
Those games just positively ruined friendships.
Did they though, or were they
Did
just
you ever
shitty
play the
friendships?
original N64 Super Smash Brothers?
I sure did.
Well, so
I
did
sure
I, and I
did.
remember very specifically getting into more than one fist fight over it.
Man, you need to, like, take anger management classes or something. It's a fucking game, dude.
Well, I did, but my therapist decided that it just wasn't worth being a therapist anymore when he dealt with me.
I bet you he was the one you got in the fist fight with. Were you going to therapy and playing Mario Kart or playing Smash Brothers?
Not against my therapist if that's what you're going for, but he was an adult and I was a kid. I would have destroyed him.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So, I obviously have a very different opinion on this than you do, right, Mike?
It seems like it.
It does. I think it's time we roll initiative, folks. You know, Mike, you say split screen is so much better and you think it was the best, but why the hell then did almost every player abandon it the second online became mainstream?
Would you like the real answer or would you like my answer?
Well, I don't care. Give me both. Let's hear your answer first.
My answer is because people's ideas towards what was a good game kind of evolved with graphic capabilities. And with those graphic capabilities came new systems. And those new systems kind of pushed split screen couch gaming out of the way to make room for online play. It's not that people didn't want split screen anymore, it's just it wasn't available anymore.
How do you recreate a split screen experience and environment with some of the games that are out today?
I mean, just have the game play as a split screen where the other person just isn't sitting next to you. You'd still be
What?
playing online, but it would show their screen too. It would just give you a semi-authentic experience, especially if you're using online chat.
Oh, are you sure you like split screens or do you just miss being 14 sitting on your couch with no responsibilities?
I mean, that's an ingredient to the bread, but it's not the whole loaf.
I feel like it's the whole loaf. I feel like you just made a whole loaf of sourdough right there. Because why would you want to see their screen?
It's not that I
Like,
want to see their screen. I think it's more, in my opinion, the social aspect of it was the best part because, hey, if you and your buddy got so into it that it eclipsed dinner time, mom would walk in and say, "Hey, you boys seem like you're having so much fun. How about David stays over tonight?" Yeah, we can play all night. Yay!
but then you admittedly said that these games cause friction between friends. And
Not
by the
all
end of
of
the
them.
night, was he trying to kill you or
Oh no, it was just Super Smash Brothers. I'm talking before that.
are you really defending split screen because it's better or are you defending it because those were the best years of your life, Mike?
In a way, both. The best years portion of it, I will not ever bend on because they really were, and those were some of the best games of my life as well. And I think you can agree on that.
Um,
Those days had better games
uh,
almost bar none.
I can think that I yes and no. The games, yes, some of the games are better, but are they really better or do I just remember them being better because I was also responsibility free, young, and happier? I mean, I was a
Were you
kid.
though?
Well, I'm very happy as an adult right now where I'm at, yes, but
No, I'm not saying happier. I'm just saying, were you really responsibility free around those times?
yeah, in 1997 when the N64 is out and all these games, yeah, I don't have much responsibility.
I
I
mean, you
mean,
were still 16 and you had societal pressures.
I wasn't 16 when the N64 came out.
You weren't?
No. How old do you think I am, Mike?
You're 6 years older than me, ain't you?
I'm 41.
Either way. My
So,
point stands, you didn't have a ton of responsibilities, but you had some.
very few. And I remember these games very fondly, yes. Do I think they were the best games? And that all games after that have just been lackluster and sec no.
Oh,
Because, my probably one of my favorite absolute games of all time to go back and replay is StarCraft, and that came out in '98. And guess what? Online, baby, no split screen.
yeah, well,
My first experiences in some of these old games that you're talking about, Duke Nukem 3D, online. We dialed up to play against each other one on one. and there were stripper titties in that game.
I came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum,
And I'm
and I'm
all out
all
of
out of
gum.
gum.
I mean, that game had some of the best one-line punches ever. "I will rip your head off and shit down your neck." I mean, come on. Here I am, an impressionable youth, and Duke Nukem is over here blasting freaking monsters into oblivion and paying strippers to take their shirts off. I mean, who made this game? Fuck, it was great.
Hey,
But
they knew their target audience, that's for sure.
online, baby. Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness, Battle dot freaking net, online, baby. Diablo, online on battle.net. Classic, good, awesome games, all online. Unreal Tournament, on freaking line. You know what? Admittedly, one of your favorite games on earth. You think you could play World of Warcraft on a split screen, Mike, with how many millions of other players?
Bold of you to say that that's my favorite.
I know it's one of your favorites.
It was.
It was, but we did a whole ass episode about how much you love that game and hate
Yeah,
it, but
yeah, I'll
still.
give you that. I'll give you that.
How many players are in RuneScape, Mike?
About as many as on WoW, actually.
And how in earth could you ever play on a split screen?
I never said that I couldn't.
You mean you never said that you could?
I know what I said.
Mike, you have to admit that split screen is not the pinnacle of multiplayer gaming that you're making it out to be.
Well, you're talking MMO versus split screen, first person shooters, and battle games and fighting games and such.
I'm talking about all of them, baby.
Worlds of difference.
They only got better when online game came out. They only got better when you could now pick a friend or a stranger or anything like that to get online and play. And you're talking to the most antisocial online person on earth. I hate playing with strangers. I have imposter syndrome, something fierce. I always feel like I'm going to look like an idiot. So I don't even group with people on WoW from it. But I'm telling you what, games got better when you did not have to be sitting in the couch in the same room with the person you wanted to play.
Well, I'll tell you what, you did succeed at one thing,
What's that?
looking like an idiot, but I digress. I will admit, online play does have its pros and cons, as does split screen. Now, do I think one is better than the other? Yes. I will forever say that I am just absolutely enamored with the split screen, owing to the fact that it had so many great games for one, and for another, just the camaraderie you had, the friendships that you had back in those days, they shaped who you were today.
I think a lot of other things shaped that.
Well, the butterfly effect is a very real thing.
So
But
let
let
me
me
ask you.
ask you
All
this.
right.
Well,
You ask away,
it's
sir.
wild that we just said that in exactly the same cadence, but either way, I've got one for you real quick. Do you remember that one moment in online play where you were paired up with just the most awesome person that you have ever met? They were really good at the game. They knew what they were doing. They were entertaining as hell. They were funny as hell. And you just wish you knew them in real life.
Um, no,
You
I've
never
never,
had that moment.
I've never had that moment.
Oof, you're missing out something fierce. And I'll tell you what, I had that moment playing World of Warcraft. I ran into a couple who were playing together on two computers, and the way they riffed off of each other was just hysterical. Like she would say, "Hey, you smell bad. You didn't spray Lysol in the bathroom," and then he just kind of went off of that, and it was hilarious, and it was a great time, and they knew how to play the game. We three manned all of Moradon on level. So you being a WoW player, you understand that. Do I remember their real names? Nope. Do I remember their screen names? Nope, not at all. And that was some of the best time I ever had playing WoW, and I remember
So,
so very little of it.
but you remember everybody who sat on the couch next to you and played a split screen game,
Yep.
even if you didn't have as much fun.
Yep.
So, if you didn't have as much fun doing that as you did with your anonymous online couple on World of Warcraft, why does it matter if you knew their name?
Because I'm still friends with quite a few of them to this day.
Okay, okay, I'll give you that. So, Mike, if they put out a game today, they put out like a really cool ass recreation of Goldeneye. Let's say they rebuilt Goldeneye with wonderful, beautiful Unreal Engine 5 graphics, and it looked like the most badass thing you've ever seen. It was playable on a USB N64 controller on your computer or on a PlayStation or an Xbox or whatever. And it offered both. It offered you split screen and it offered you an online option. After the first week, what do you think people would be using more of?
Well, owing to the fact that as adults, we don't have near as much free time to just go to another person's house, sit down, eat a bag of Cheetos, and play video games all day, online's going to have a far better time of it.
It absolutely will. And I think you just made my own point for me.
That's making your point for you, yes, but at the same time, my point still stands
Us as gamers got old.
that we did.
We got busy. The only way we can maintain those relationships now, sometimes with our friends, is through long distances. Michael, right now, talking to me on this podcast, is 25 plus miles away from me.
Which isn't that much, really, and probably
Well,
closer to 21 miles. We're both on near ends of town to each other.
that's fair. But the point
So,
is,
ha,
the point is, online play has made it possible for us to continue enjoying something that we love, gaming. And it
absolutely.
allows us to enjoy that love with our friends like you or strangers like your married couple and WoW. And that is the superior multiplayer.
I mean, sure, but people do Civil War reenactments all the time. Doesn't mean that they really, really, really miss the Civil War, because I doubt any of them were actually there.
All right, folks. If you think Mike won that argument, send it an email, arguingwithdragons@gmail.com.
I mean, if you
Tell
think
us.
Tyson is stupid and smells bad, do the same.
You can email me and tell me I smell bad. That's fine. All right. Well, that was fun, but I'm glad that you could see my point.
No, I absolutely do see it. Do I believe that it is the only point? No.
No, no, there's a lot of ways to look at it. I see. On my severe ADHD though, I have never been a fan of split screen games, and it is solely for the fact that I just cannot focus on my one screen without losing my place on that TV. As a child, I didn't know that was ADHD. I did not know that that was a problem. I thought I was normal. And now as an adult, I realize I am definitely not.
Yeah, you're correct on that. But you know what I think we should do?
What's that?
You've already said you've got your N64 out, dusted off, controllers plugged in and played. I say we get together some night, have a big bag of Cheetos and a pizza, and just forget about the rest of the world
Oh, we're having an upcoming road trip.
that we
Maybe I'll
are.
maybe I'll just bring my N64.
Oh,
Ooh.
sounds like you want me to kick your ass on GoldenEye without playing his odd job.
Oh god. Make me want to vomit. I hate that game. It's my hot take of the
We're
internet,
not
ladies and
friends
gentlemen.
anymore.
I don't like GoldenEye, so I don't like GoldenEye 007. I at least let me rephrase that. I do not like it on multiplayer mode.
Send your hate towards Tyson to arguingwithdragons at gmail.com and be sure to mention how bad he smells.
All right, Michael, welcome back. We are going to roll skill check. All right, I've got some questions for you, Mike. These questions are involving split screen games from the most popular era, and some of these are the most popular games. But I'm going to ask you some questions, and we're going to see just how good Mike is.
All right. You're blowing my freaking mind here, dude, because I too have trivia questions for you.
God, what is in the air today?
It's
Ugh,
crazy. That
it
song is
is.
copyright.
We totally didn't plan any of this.
Oh my.
Oh my. All right, number
Lying
one,
on the
Mike.
internet is a bad idea, Tyson.
I dare anybody to prove to me that I'm actually lying.
They'll never know.
In GoldenEye 007,
Bring
what
it.
was the name of the multiplayer mode where one player played as Oddjob or Jaws with a special advantage?
Repeat that?
In GoldenEye 007,
Mhm.
what was the name of the multiplayer mode where one player played as Odd Job or Jaws with special advantages?
That was the Living Daylights, wasn't it?
No, the
Oh,
man with the golden gun.
that wasn't just Odd Job and Jaws, was it?
Oh, it says it was.
I
It
could
says
have
it was.
sworn that was anybody who could pick up the golden gun and finish the game with it.
Uh, I don't know. These trivia questions, foolproof, man. The internet doesn't lie, right? Internet, you don't lie ever. In Mario Kart 64, which battle mode stage features four separate quadrants divided by walls, forcing players into tight choke points?
I do believe that was Bowser's Castle.
No, it was Block Fort. And I
Block.
know that one's right because I play Mario Kart 64 with my little girl and my wife, and I get my ass smoked every time.
I was more of a Diddy Kong Racing guy myself.
Oh, good, because that's one of the questions coming up.
Uh-oh.
In Perfect Dark, what feature allowed you to simulate multiplayer matches even when you didn't have enough human players?
I forget what it's called.
Ooh,
I'm
simulants.
a simulant.
You are
Alright.
3 for 3 failing. Oh, man. All right, number 4, let's see if you can redeem yourself here. In Smash Brothers Original,
'Kay.
which item could instantly KO an opponent if used correctly and was often banned in competitive friendly house rules?
That would be the home run bat.
Ding, ding, ding. Ladies and gentlemen, he's finally got one right. I am so proud of you.
I'm proud of me too.
And your fifth and final question, Mike. In Diddy Kong Racing,
Mhm.
what made its multiplayer modes fundamentally different from Mario Kart 64 beyond just kart racing?
The battle mode.
No,
That question is a little vague.
it is a little vague. I will give you that. What made it different than just kart racing and battling?
Okay, I get it. You could either have a hovercraft or a plane.
You could. That's the correct answer, folks.
Okay.
If you've never played Diddy Kong Racing, that game is freaking cool. Because
Yes, it
yes,
is.
you can fly, you can be in a little jet hovercraft going over the water, or you can be in a cart, and you can I think you can do them all together, can't you?
In multiplayer, if you had multiple people on the split screen, plug.
Yep.
But if you had multiple people there, they could choose which vehicle they had. And while obviously the plane is going to be the most advantageous, they all had their pluses.
Yes, they did.
The
And Diddy
hovercraft
Kong
was more
Racing,
maneuverable, the cart was faster.
it was a very fun game. Do you have a
Yeah,
copy of that game, Mike?
I most certainly do.
As do I. Definitely one for the collection, folks.
Hell yeah, sir. My favorite character was Banjo, making his in-game debut before Banjo-Kazooie 64.
That's fantastic. That's a little bit of internet trivia for you folks.
Yay!
All right, so I heard you had some questions for me, sir. Let them rip.
I don't know where you heard that, but it just so happens that I do. All
Let me
right.
re let me rewind the tape just a little bit there.
Yep. I have some trivia questions for you too, Tyson.
Oh, let's hear it, Mike.
Oh, I guess you're right. How about that? Okay, let's see here. Star Fox 64 trivia question since you're so enamored with the game.
I do love me some Star Fox. All
I
right,
get the
let's hear
feeling
it.
you're going to get a couple of these wrong.
All right, peel
Yep.
away.
All right, let's start with the first one and probably the easiest. What famous piece of advice does Peppy Hare yell to instruct Fox on how to deflect enemy laser fire?
Do a barrel roll.
Knew you'd get that one, but that's an internet meme too, so anybody could get that one,
They'd have to know who Peppy Hare was.
potentially, but either way. What groundbreaking Nintendo 64 hardware peripheral was first introduced and bundled with the release of the Star Fox 64?
The Rumble Pack.
Hey, look at you, 2 for 2. Alrighty. Question 3. Which member of the Star Fox team serves as the ship's mechanic?
Oh, that is, Slippy. Slippy Toad is the ship's mechanic.
Oof, I hate you very, very much for that. Okay.
I hate Slippy very, very much.
I mean, everybody did, but that's beside the point.
I still to this day don't know if Slippy Toad is supposed to be a girl or a boy on the N64. So
Male.
I believe it is supposed to be a male, but believe it was voiced by a female. And so that led to a lot of confusion for me as a child, not knowing, okay, is Slippy a girl or a boy? And I don't really care. She could be a girl and be the best damn mechanic there is. I don't care. All right, question 4, please.
Just a bit of trivia here. Slippy Toad's primary English voice actress is Lisa Brown.
Oh, there you go. See,
So,
I knew
yeah,
it.
it's a woman.
I definitely knew that, folks.
Yes. Alrighty. Question number 4. What is the name of the mercenary team that frequently intercepts the Star Fox team?
Just what I need to see. Star Wolf.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, it's Star
The
Wolf.
correct answer was Star Wolf. Oh, wait, you got it right.
Oh, yeah. See, there you go.
How about that? Okay, here's the one that I think you will have the most trouble with.
All right, shoot.
Question number 5. To reach the true final boss battle against Andross's real form, players must navigate the hard route and enter the planet Venom from which specific level?
You go up through Aquas, through Zonus, through Sector, and I can't remember if there's something before Venom after after Sector. Yes, there's you fly through there's a huge fleet that you have to fly through and fight a boss in before you get to Venom. It's like the outer defense zone or something. I can't remember what it's
Gotta
specifically called.
give the name.
Oh, come on.
I'm not just gonna give you a description, bud. You gotta give me a name.
Hmm.
5 seconds. 3. I can hear you typing.
I just want to see the damn map. It's like the outer defense zone, and it looks like
Time's up. Area 6.
Area 6. Ah, shit. That's okay. I'll take the hit on that one, folks. I know the route. So, fun fact, you have to let me see if I get this right in my head. And internet, call me out if I'm wrong. But with my encyclopedic knowledge of Star Fox 64, starting at Corneria.
Encyclopedic, he says.
Oh, see, I even had the sector wrong. It's sector Z is before, not X. But anyway, you have to fly under the archways and keep Falco alive in order to get to the attack carrier boss. That will trigger you to go to sector Y, where in sector Y you must defeat a certain amount of enemies during the whole level in order to go to Aquas. If you don't, you end up going to Katina, which is in the center of the map there, right before Solar. But anyway, in Aquas, you just have to survive, because I don't think there's anything that triggers you to go anywhere else. But
Extremely difficult level.
actually, Aquas is cake.
Well, the boss
Is
is not.
the boss is easy. The boss is the easier part of
I
that level.
remember struggling on that one.
The hardest part of Aquas is when the starfish are flying up at you and they explode and they have an area effect damage. And there's so many of them that you just like are overwhelmed by shit flying at your face, which I know is like every Tuesday night for you, Mike.
Oh
But
my.
but then the boss is pretty simple. You just have to keep shooting bombs. And Slippy tells you, fire plenty of missiles. We got them. And she's right, because the little submarine comes fully equipped with infinite bombs, which is wonderful.
My, oh my.
Zonus is very difficult because you have to kill all of the searchlights throughout the level, and some of them are in weird spots. And once you beat all the searchlights, your little friend will come down, the Falco's friend, who's
Cat.
a cat.
And her name is Cat.
Yeah, well, it's so unoriginal. And then when you go to Sector Z, you will find several missiles flying at the Great Fox, and you have to destroy all of them before they hit the Great Fox. And if they hit the Great Fox, then you go all the way over to the satellite rather than what, use that Area 7 you called it?
6.
Area 6?
I'm gonna throw that incorrect answer in your face forever.
That's fine with me. Folks, we don't get everything right here at Arguing with Dragons, and that's okay. But I will take pleasure in knowing that I got way more of my questions right than Mike did.
Good thing we were playing by golf rules. I declare myself the winner.
All right, so what are you rating this, Mike? What are you rating your split screen? Because I got some solid ass ratings right now.
I would say for split screen, I am going to give it, well, using our patented rating scale, I'm going to give it Wyvern tier.
Oh, Wyvern tier, huh? So you're ranking it up there.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think of online gaming?
I would say it's pretty close, but I'm putting it in Goblin tier, maybe half a point away from going up to Wyvern tier on a scale of 1 to 10.
See, I am a polar opposite, ladies and gentlemen. I think online play is definitely Wyvern tier. And I think it's Wyvern tier and not Dragon tier simply because Mike has a point, and I don't know that he even brought it up in this podcast, but he's brought it up to me before, that online gameplay created a lot of toxicity because
It
little
did.
little bitches hiding behind their screen names, talking crap about your mom and harassing you, or worse, like they do in World of Warcraft, constantly reporting you to get you banned from a game that you pay a monthly fee for.
Or worse yet, being complete racists.
That too. I mean, just being misogynistic douchebags online. I don't tolerate that. So that to me is what keeps online play from ever being dragon tier. And it's done wonders for bringing us together as a society, but it also means that the people that we wish weren't parts of society also have a voice. So, and then split screen, definitely goblin tier. It's not the worst thing out there because, lots of cool games could only be multiplayer with split screen. And I'm willing to accept that. But it's definitely a goblin, man. It's got problems and it created more problems than it solved.
I would say that it solved its own problems and didn't focus on the problems it created.
No, we can again agree to disagree.
Mm, Then
All
let's
right.
do that.
All right,
Agree to
folks.
disagree seems like a good verdict.
I want to hear about your first experience with a multiplayer game. I want to hear about that first time you sat in front of your Atari. I want to hear about that first time you played Mario Kart. I want to hear about that first time you logged in to battle.net and played round of StarCraft with your friends. I want to hear about that first Diablo character, anything, even if you're a Fortnite player, God help you. I'm so sorry. But if you're a Fortnite player, I want to hear from you. Tell me about your experiences with online multiplaying. Arguingwithdragons at gmail.com. It, I would love to hear about it. And we will read your experiences on air.
Absolutely, we will.
Just don't be racist.
Exactly. Don't be that 12-year-old that evidently fucked my mom.
So, folks, we are going to be, and I will keep mentioning this every single episode.
Here comes the shameless self plug.
I know. We will be at the Midwest Game Fest in Independence, Missouri on April 23rd, 2026. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Me neither, dude. I'm counting the seconds.
I never would have thought that a podcast could take us on tour, but we're doing it, baby.
I mean, it's a one destination tour, but at the same time,
Ugh. Hey, it's something. You got to start somewhere, right?
absolutely.
Who knows?
Absolutely.
If you want to play a game of Dungeons and Dragons with these two losers, be there or be square.
Or just hit us up at arguingwithdragons at gmail.com. I'm pretty sure I could set up a game for you.
Yeah, maybe we can get an arguing with Dragons fan club playing D&D together.
That'd be neat.
That would be kind of
Perhaps
neat.
even some celebrity guests.
I will totally DM one shot for some fans.
Absolutely.
All right, Mike. Well, hey, that was a great episode, don't you think?
I would say so.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of want to go fire up my Nintendo again and trash talk a 9-year-old until
Hell
she
yeah.
cries and doesn't want to play Mario Kart with her dad anymore. I kid you not. I kid listeners because I'm very nice to her. When she beats me, I congratulate her and I am so proud that she is so good. I'm so proud.
Children.
Yeah.
Always both overwhelming, underwhelming, and disappointing and appointing us.
Well, has your boy played any games with you yet, Mike?
A few, yes, but we never had a good split screen moment.
I think it's time.
Yeah, if I can find that 64, I tell you what, I
If you
have
have
4 controllers, all of different colors.
if you can promise me you'll have a good split screen moment with your boy, I will loan you my N64 to have it.
You bet.
All right, man. Well, hey, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight, folks. We will see you next week or
Yes,
maybe
we
sooner.
will.
Maybe we'll do a short. I think we need to do
Yeah,
another
that could be
short.
fun.
Yeah, I got a good idea for one too.
Oh, what is it?
Well, you know what, listeners? You're just gonna have to tune in and find out. Have a good night, folks.
Ooh, good night, guys.